gamers, today we're going to be talking about the new DLC in Age of Empires 4. Now you might be wondering, well, the new DLC was out like a few months ago. Well, if you're not aware, I still see people in my stream live when they're watching, when I talk about DLC, they're like, what, there's another one? So devs have announced, I don't know when it was, maybe it was last year, maybe it was the beginning of this year, that this year we are getting 2 DLCs in AOE4. So we're not just having one this year, we're having 2. The first DLC was released whenever it was released, a few months ago, I don't remember the date, which introduced Knights Templar and House of Lancaster. Okay, let's talk about that first. So that DLC, if I remember correctly, they added 10 new maps, right? They added 10 new maps, and then they also added Proving Grounds, which was basically, you know how we have Art of War with like these challenges, and then in the Ottoman and Malian we received Art of War Civilization challenges. Well, we got historical battles in Knights of Cross and Rose DLC, where there's specific maps and you can do challenges in order to, I guess, test yourself, and it's just kind of for fun, historical battle kind of thing. And then they added the 2 Civs, which were variant Civs. Now, there was a lot of controversy with this, so I'm just going to kind of rehash basically a little bit of what happened. The first DLC this year that happened had 2 variant civilization, which was Knights Templar, which is a variation of French, and we had House of Lancaster, which was variation of English, with no new original Civs introduced. A lot of people are upset because the first time when we got variant Civs, Abbasids to Ayyubid, China to Jushi Legacy, French to JD, Atri to OTD, a lot of people voiced their concern that they wanted original Civs like Byzantine and Malian, but when we had that DLC with, Byzantine and Japanese, when we had that DLC with Byzantine and Japanese, we basically had 2 original Civs, 4 variants in one huge DLC, and people still were very upset about variants because they were kind of saying it's like a lazy way of putting in more content or whatever. No matter how you feel about variant Civs, I do want to say something. So first of all, devs don't make the decision on what's coming, right? As in, they're not the ones putting in money for the development of the game, right? The developers are developing the game. Someone else is making the decisions of what gets put in the game, how much money gets put in the game. So the question that people gotta realize is not whether do you want a variant Civ or do you want an original Civ. Obviously, we would all prefer original Civs. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think anyone there is like, yeah, I want a variant Civ. Everyone wants original Civs in the new DLC, in this last DLC, the upcoming DLC, whatever other DLC, right? The question is, do you want originals, like 2 original Civs, let's say, and 2 variant Civs? Or do you want just 2 original Civs? Or if they released last DLC, it would be, do you want 2 variant Civs or do you want no Civs? So the answer, or the question isn't, would you prefer original or variants? We all prefer original. The problem is, that I think a lot of people don't realize, is we either get variant Civs or we don't get a Civ. I think that's what the problem is. And I'll give you a little bit of an inside information why that is. When a variant Civ is made, let's say China and Jushi Legacy, or OTD, Atri to OTD, or English to Lancaster, they can reuse a lot of the same models, and they can reuse a lot of the same voice lines, they can reuse some of the same landmarks. So the money that goes into making these variant Civs is a lot lower than making an original Civ. So something that you guys might not be aware of, but whenever they're making Byzantine or Japanese, they actually have like research teams that they send to the countries to research the history, to research the landmarks, to get the exact way what the landmarks are looking so they can put them in the game. They need voice lines, they need voice line actors, you know, they need a lot of different things. They need models for new units if they're, you know, civilization with completely new units. Basically, variant costs very little money. Original Civs cost a lot more money, specifically because of the voice lines, because also voices advance through the ages. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. And then new models and all that. Variant Civ is a easy way to add content while actually not needing a lot of resource, aka money, to make those. Some of the variant civs were bad, straight up. Some of the variant civs I thought were very good. So let's go through the variant civs, and I'm just going to give my opinion on it, and then we're going to talk about the new DLC. So I think that AOE is very different from Abbasid. Obviously there are similarities, but I personally love how different Abbasid to AOE is, and I think AOE was done well, like as a variant civ. It's different enough from its original civ. China and Jushi Legacy, in my opinion, are too close to one another in terms of both playstyle and just the way that the civs work. Now, they do have different landmarks, and I also feel, I don't know this, I'm just speculating, I feel that in this DLC, when we had AOE, Jushi, OTD, JD, the devs were testing different variant civs and what a variant civ means. I feel like they were testing what will people like, what will people consider unique. Because if you think about it, AOE and Abbasid have pretty much everything the same. AOE has more camels and different camels, but the age up mechanic is different, even though it's House of Wisdom. Then Jushi Legacy has all the same units. Imperial added new units, but the landmarks are all different compared to China. Right? And then you have JD, which in my opinion was complete miss. This is the biggest miss out of variant civs. It is way too similar to French, which is why JD, I'm assuming, is getting a rework sometime soon. They have announced a couple of months ago, and JD is getting reworked because I do think it is the worst variant civ. The landmarks are the same. The civs play out the same. The only difference is like some of the passive civ bonuses and the fact that there's JD. And I think that was pretty bad implementation of the variant civ. And if they're doing variant civs in the future, I hope they never do anything similar to JD because it is not good. Okay. Then we had H3 to Order of the Dragon, which I thought was because of the way the play styles are completely different. I personally don't mind the fact that we have Order of the Dragon as a variant because yes, the landmarks are the same. Yes, they do a bit work a bit different. The models are the same. I think they are different civilizations in terms of how they play out and them being unique. Obviously, Order of the Dragon has units that cost twice as much and basically have double the stats. So it is not similar to HRE, and they don't even play similarly in game. Like, it's just a completely different civ. What I also think is I think a lot of people are stuck on the term civilization and the term variant. This is something I mentioned to the devs like last year. I think people just have negative connotation with the word variant. Like it's just going to be a bad civ or it's just going to be a copy-pasted civ. When I saw Knights Templar announced and House of Lancaster, I was very worried, okay? I'm just going to say straight up, I was very, very worried. I was like, oh God, we're getting 2 more variant civs. And people did not like variant civs. So this is going to be a disaster. And when the Knights and Rose released, people's reaction was a disaster. Everyone was complaining, everyone hated it, and I told people, just wait and see, just play them, okay? Just play them. And people were like, no, it's a variant civ, it sucks, we want original civs, and I was like, just play them. That's it, just play them. Now, needless to say, I think that English and House of Lancaster play completely differently. They do have some same landmarks, but you know, if they didn't have the same looking models and if it wasn't called a variant, if it was called some other civ, I don't think anyone would be like, oh, this is same as English, because they do play differently, especially with manners and everything else, right? But I still think that it is kind of clear that House of Lancaster is an English variant. Like there is enough similarity, but the playstyle is completely different. But on the other hand, people lost their mind about Knights Templar because they were like, oh my God, they're releasing not only another variant, but it's a variant of a civ that we already have a variant of. So people lost their minds. And obviously the players had, preview of Knights Templar, and I knew that Knights Templar was very, very unique, but it will be accepted as a community in a terrible way because people will have a hard time looking past the word variant. So when Knights Templar got released and House of Lancaster, again, people went batshit about the fact that they're variants. And then when they saw Knights Templar, people kind of went, huh, this could have been a civ on their own. Because if you guys don't know, even though Knights Templar is a variant of French, basically the model of the buildings and is the same, but they changed like the colors, the shading on the buildings. So they kind of freshened it up. Like, yeah, they're using the same model, but they freshened it up. And then if you compare Knights Templar to French, it is a variant, but it has nothing to do with French, with French as a civ. The reason why it's a variant is because it uses the same models and it's from the region historically where French is, although Knights Templar is not just from French, it's also like HRE and French and English, but obviously it cannot be a variant of 3 different civs. So, Knights Templar does not have French landmarks. It uses the same voice lines. It uses the same models for buildings and for some of the units, but it has completely like unique age up, which is the first civilization that can age up in a town center, like in Age of Empires 2. It has fortresses, which also count as landmarks. The way that every time you age up, you choose between 3 age ups and then you unlock new units. KT has 9 different units, right? And this is a variant civ, which to me, right, is enough to be a civilization on its own. And this is, I think, where the disconnect happens. KT cannot be called a civilization, okay? French is a civilization. English are a civilization. Chinese is a civilization because they existed. As in, historically, they are a civilization. There was no country or a civilization called Knights Templar. So because of that, they're called variant civ. And a lot of people hear variant civ and they assume, oh, it's going to be French with 3 things changed. Perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps devs realized from the previous variants that people are not going to hate on variants as much if they're different or not even close to the original civ, right? And I do think that, again, if Knights Templar got released as, I think if devs just used a wording like Knights Templar is a civilization and not a variant civilization, I actually don't think anyone would give a shit, right? But because we have the word variant, there's so much negative connotation with it that people just kind of hate it. So I do think out of all the variant civs so far, Knights Templar is done by far the best. With that being said, what should we expect for the next DLC? Let's talk about the date first. I don't know the release date, so I'm not like leaking anything. Like stuff that I'm discussing here, I'm not leaking anything. I don't know any like secret info and I'm about to fucking reveal it in front of you. It's very painfully obvious, okay? Age of Empires 4 came out on October 28, 2021. Okay, are you guys following? This season is going from June 26th to October 27th, 2025. They have never done a DLC mid-season. This has never happened. The DLCs were always released either just before the season ends, like a day or 2. Actually, no, I think all the DLCs were dropped after the season ends, which means 27th, the season ends, 28th is AOE4 anniversary. I would be shocked if the DLC is not on 28th. Like, I would be shocked if DLC is not on 28th. And I am 99.999% sure that that's when DLC is going to be coming. I mean, it's Age of Empires 4 anniversary. The season is ending there, so it gives they might even make like a break from the ranked 2-3 days until DLC releases and so on and so forth. So I'm pretty sure you can lock that down, by the way. Like if you want to take vacation to play DLC or something, or you just want to game all day, you can lock that down. So regarding what to expect, I don't know if they're going to do original civs. I don't know if we're going to get like 2 original civs, 2 variants. I don't know if we're going to get only 2 variants. I don't know if you're going to get 5 variants. I don't know if you're going to get 5 original civs. But this is something that community needs to be aware of, because recently, if you guys don't know, AOE2 has had variant civs. and obviously people were not happy. They were Chinese variants, I think. And I don't have any info, but I'm pretty sure they released variant civs there too, because they saw it being done in AOE4, and they were like, okay, this is a great way to add more civilizations into the game, while not spending as much funding, right? After seeing KT, do I expect devs to do more variant civs in the future? And I don't mean just this DLC, but in the future, I do. I just hope that they're different enough where we don't go, oh, it's HRE, but relics give wood instead of gold, you know? Now, I do expect one thing, and I am pretty sure that this is going to happen. I'm expecting a massive patch at the end of this season. The reason I'm expecting a massive patch is because this is the longest, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, this is the longest that we have not had major changes in the game, in the meta, in the game, in the playstyles. So usually about every 6 months, we have a major patch that changes the game completely. Previously we had siege changes where they reworked all the siege, or we had a patch change that made pro scouts the way the pro scouts are now, or they were really good, or we had patch change where 2 TC became really good. But if you're maybe you weren't here, this year pro scouting has been the meta since the end of last year, and people kind of expected when the last DLC dropped that there's going to be something to change that completely. And the patch was very small that came with DLC. And then there was another patch recently, I think 2 months ago, and the patch was very small. 2 months ago in June. Because of all the patches this year were pretty low, and I don't mean in terms of balance patches, I just mean in terms of gameplay patches. Because previous years we've had patches that added units, added fucking researches, changed research. I mean, we had the university patch that changed all the upgrades, and this year we had nothing. So I'm expecting they're cooking something up. What is that? Wait, was this today? In April, we launched Knights of Cross and Rose, the second expansion for AOE4, and one of the best-selling expansions ever for Age of Empires franchise. Wait, really? That was still one of the best-selling expansions? Okay. We've been thrilled to hear your feedback, see your new strategies, and watch gameplay as you marched into battle with Knights Templar and House of Lancaster. In February, we revealed this year would bring 2 new expansions, Age of Empires 4, Knights of Cross already available. We're excited to share that the next big release will come in fall 2025, which, again, book it October 28th, okay? Our focus for content this year was to expand on existing concepts, as well as experiment with shorter and more repeatable experiences. While the historical battles included in Knights of Cross provided one venue for shaking up our formula by fusing more traditional narrative-driven elements of a campaign mission with a scoring system and levels designed to promote more exploration, we've continued to push things even farther with a new game mode we'll be unveiling with this next expansion. Okay. In fact, while there be plenty of Age of Empires 4 gameplay you know and love to revel in, you might recognize core elements from other genres making their debut as well. We're pretty sure you like what you see, so there's much more, and there's much more to share. While we aren't ready to go into exact details, we do hear rumblings that a previously mentioned event in Cologne later this summer would be a great moment to stay tuned. Okay, there you go. I actually didn't see this. When was this released? July 30th? How did I miss this completely? Yeah, July 30th. Okay, so there you go. So this seems like, what's it called? This seems like there's gonna be new type of battles, like historical battles type thing, PvE thing, I'm assuming. Maybe co-op, copium. I would love if it was co-op, because that'd be sick. But yeah, okay, so this confirms it. They are gonna show something in Cologne, which is in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, right? So we're gonna see more there, which should be pretty cool. And I'm assuming, I mean, Cologne is usually where a lot of gaming companies reveal their stuff. I'm assuming they're gonna either show gameplay or announce civs, or how many civs, or how many variant civs, or whatever you wanna call them. Maybe they're gonna show this new mode and probably announce release date. I think not announcing release date is kind of dented, because anyone that plays the game knows most likely that it's going to be 28th, but it's better to announce it for the more casual audience. Will I be there? I don't have any plans on going, no. Actually, Mareka is going, but she's going for unrelated to AOE4 things. Mareka is working hard. She's cooking. She's not literally cooking, but she's going for work in Cologne. August 20th is the Cologne event. Okay. It's like August 20th to 24th, right? So we'll hear more details then, and obviously I'm going to make a follow-up video and everything like that. What is this? Age of Empires Mobile PC Edition is coming. Play first at Gamescom. I'm joking. Love mobile games. Okay. Okay, poggers. Guys, get your phones out. But actually, you don't need to get them out. It's coming on PC. Competitive Age continues to flourish in 2025. Players in the Age of Empires esports scene are competing harder than before, creating auxiliary for with 200,000 awarded to players at ST events so far alone. So far in 2025, we have including a LAN event in Germany and China. That's probably AOE2, right? I love how AOE2 they just go like Hera, and then he's like he won this, and this. AOE4. Wow. Yeah, I don't think there's an AOE4 event in China. I'm pretty sure this is AOE2. This is only a sneak peek. What's to come for Age of Empires and Age of Mythology? We can't wait to share more and hope it sparked your excitement for everything. Wow, there it is. So that's kind of it. That's kind of what I wanted to discuss with you guys. I think the game, personally, my biggest wish for the DLC, apart from Civs with good gameplay and hopefully unique Civs, is a co-op PvE mode. PvE co-op modes are so important for any RTS game, in my opinion. If you guys didn't know, half of the player base in StarCraft 2 was only playing co-op. Think about that. Like, if we had an official co-op mode in AOE4, that would be fucking sick. And I don't mean like co-op where you go and play against AI in a custom game. I mean like some kind of missions or something you can play with your buddy. Like StarCraft, what is it called? Yeah, co-op mutation. So in StarCraft, you can queue up for co-op. It's like unique missions that have nothing to do with multiplayer or single player, and you just fucking got crazy units and shit like that. I would love if we had something like that for AOE4. Like, I generally feel like that's what this game needs the most. We need casual players to join the game and enjoy the game. As much as I am a tryhard and I love playing competitive stuff and high-ranked games and 1v1s, I do recognize that it's very important to have these things for more casual players. So that is it. Stay tuned in. I'll keep you guys updated on any news about the DLC. And if you're watching on YouTube, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check me out live and streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. And if you're watching this live, let's keep going.